From Raleigh, North Carolina, for the first time ever, Campbell takes on NC State on the gridiron. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff. We've got everybody here in the booth for this big one today. Jay Sunhalter is here. Lyndall Suggs is here. And returning to the broadcast now, his 14th year as a part of our football broadcast, Dr. Andy Bowman. And, Jay, we will start with you. You live up here in the middle of NC State country, and they are not happy with this team. They are not happy with this coach right now.
There's a lot of pressure on the program and Dave Doran, so I think it'll be interesting to see how they come out here after the loss last week against Virginia Tech, where they were not performing at a high level, and that pressure has been real this week. So Campbell's coming in here with a lot of motivation coming in on the road, and this should be a great atmosphere for today's game.
Yeah, and it is not just your usual grumbling from a Power 4 power team when you lose a game that you shouldn't, like this NC State team has for the past 2 weeks. It is the beat writer headline says it is time for Dave Doran to go. The podcasts are saying it is time for Dave Doran to go. And, Lyndall, this is a Wolfpack team that wants to get right, and Campbell is standing right in their way.
Yeah, Campbell is coming in with trying to rebound on their own after last week. We finally saw the offense get it together in the second half versus Campbell, and right now, or versus Western Carolina. So Campbell tonight or this afternoon is really just trying to put together a good showing out on this field, and anything that you can do against this Wolfpack team, whether that be score a few times or put some drives together deep into the red zone. Try to say that 5 times fast. That really will even put some more pressure on Coach Doran if Campbell comes up here and has a good showing against his Wolfpack team.
Our good friend, Campbell alum and former Campbell faculty member, now he is doing it all up in Virginia at another pharmacy school. But Dr. Andy Bowman, you have a unique perspective. You were with Campbell when they restarted football, and now in its 18th year to be here playing one of the premier teams in the entire state. This has to be a little bit of a surreal experience.
Well, it really is. I mean, and for these young people out on the football field today, I mean, this is going to be the biggest venue that some of them ever play on. And so there's a lot of excitement. Look, we know that the Wolfpack is favored. We know this is FBS versus FCS. We get all of that. But these kids are looking forward to being in Carter Finley Stadium and playing on this football field. Some of them probably wanted an opportunity to play here as they were growing up in high school as local young people. And so this is a great opportunity. There'll be more of them, obviously. I think Florida next year is on the table, and there's going to be some other opportunities. But for me as an alum to be here in Carter Finley and watching Campbell play, win or lose, it's really exciting.
Look, this is a Campbell team. There's no bones about it. The record is what it is at 1-4. But we all talked about at the beginning of the year, as tough as this first half of the schedule was going to be. Look, this is the second FBS team that Campbell will play. Those are games where you basically get paid to come up and to be the underdog. Campbell started on the road with the top 10 Rhode Island team. They led for the majority of that game, led into the fourth quarter. They come back home, take on a Furman team. They lead going into the fourth quarter, let that one slip away. They beat Bryant, which is big. It made them 1-1 in the CAA, a great comeback there to come back and win that game into overtimes. And then against Western Carolina, they really have their first bad half of the entire year, dug a deep hole, came all the way back, made it a one-score game to a game that was 28-3 at one time. So, look, if this game doesn't go the way of Campbell, you're looking at a 1-5 team at the halfway point. But, guys, we've all talked about how this is a team that's better on the field. They're better off the field, and there are a lot of wins out there in the second half of the season, which is going to be all CAA teams, 3 tough opponents at home, 3 opponents that you have a chance to beat on the road. Campbell can turn this thing around in a hurry.
Yeah, the question really is going to be with this Campbell team, how do they get the momentum going into that second half of the season? You got Hampton coming up, which is a big game. And I know you mentioned 1-4 right now, but if they end up 1-5, you really can knock 2 losses off the schedule and say 1-3, 1-1 in conference if you really want to look at it that way. And I'm sure, Andy, you agree because we've talked about this, that back half of the schedule, even though it doesn't get easier, you're hoping that this first half makes you battle-tested to get there.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many teams that play at the FCS level that have an opportunity to play East Carolina and NC State in the same season. That makes you grow. As long as you don't get a bunch of injuries, you gain a lot of experience from playing the kids at this level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Chris, I just think that growth and staying together is what you want to build, and then once you get into conference play, it's a whole new season. And I think Campbell's going to have everything out in front of them after this week. Win or lose today, it's all about consistency, getting better, and playing your best at the end of the season.
Yeah, and if there was a 1-5 record at the halfway point, the one win that you wanted to get was one of those 2 conference games. Again, with 1-1 in the conference, everything there in front of the Campbell Fighting Camels today and then in the second half of the season. And head coach Braxton Harris feels the same way. He was very, very encouraged in the second half of that game against Western Carolina, a team that was down 28-3 at one time, down 3 scores at halftime. Usually, and even last year, he had a group that didn't come out with what they should have in the second half when they were in the same situation last year. They're in a different situation now, and he was very encouraged from what he saw.
We got into halftime. It was 28-10. We're down. Really challenged our guys at halftime to come back and be able to compete and come back and fight. Then you look at the second half, and that score is 25-14 in our favor. If you look at holistically, our kids played harder in the third and fourth quarter, and were more successful in third and fourth quarter than we have been all year in any of our ball games. And so a credit to our kids, credit to our program, credit to our coaches. You get in that spot. Last year, we're in that spot against North Carolina Central. We're down 28-0 at halftime. And our kids didn't come out and respond. A huge credit to our kids and the character of who they are and the character of this football team to come out and give ourselves an opportunity to win the football game in the fourth quarter. There's not a lot of teams that I think would be able to do that.
Absolutely there. That shows something about the character, and that shows something about the fight that this team has.
Yeah, well, this team, as you can see it, and Jay and I were on the call for this game, that first half, and there's no way to mince words about it, they couldn't get anything going offensively, trying to figure out being down their biggest weapon. And they started to figure it out in the second half. And honestly and truly, a couple plays go their way defensively. They're probably that game probably goes into overtime with the way that it went. I'm fairly impressed, and Jay and I have talked about this too as well on our own personal time. This defense is a whole lot better than people are going to give them credit for with the way that games have ended.
Yeah, and last week, how you respond to adversity says a lot. And, of course, you don't want to get off to a bad start and you don't want tough things to happen to you. But they did. You can learn from it. But I think seeing that comeback, seeing how the team stayed together was huge.
And, Andy, you have seen more football than the rest of us, but you've all also known that the fourth quarter for this football team has really been chasing ghosts. That's what it's been for Campbell football historically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've come out quick in the past and, then lost the lead and then had to try to get it back at the end. And, it's been a difficult thing for them in the fourth.
This is a Campbell team that has a huge challenge today. Anytime you take on an FBS team, and look, people are down on the Wolfpack, but they have one of the best running backs, and Hollywood Smothers, also one of the best names in the entire nation. He leads the ACC in rushing. He's 4th in all of FBS in rushing, 14 in FBS all-purpose yards, and they have a sensational sophomore quarterback, C.J. Bailey. They're a little bit disappointed in him, but he is one of the most accurate passers in the ACC, top 12 in all of the FBS. And right now, it's just been 2 years, but he has a better career completion percentage about someone we were just talking about, Phillip Rivers, who played here some 20 years ago. This is a really, really good offense, not just against Campbell, but on the FBS scale.
Well, there's a lot of talent, and I think whenever you have a running game and a quarterback that is more than capable, you have a chance to be really, really good. And right now they're not playing to their potential, but I think today they want to give the ball to Hollywood Smothers and try to get that offensive line going where there's been some moving guys because of injuries and not stellar play. So for them, I think they're going to focus on running the football, but C.J. Bailey has the arm strength to take some shots. They just haven't shown it consistently.
And I think the frustration around this Wolfpack team is not necessarily the head coach not doing what he's supposed to do, but the frustrating pieces of having the talent and not being able to turn that around into wins. I think that is the frustration now. And so you kind of look at the head coach like he's been here for a long time. Maybe it's time to make a change of the reins.
Well, they looked like they were sleepwalking against Virginia Tech. I mean, in all fairness, Virginia Tech, it's a disaster up there. They've got kids hitting the portal. They fired their coach during the season. And, you know, if you're the Wolfpack, you're thinking, yeah, we're going to get the best of the Hokies when they get down here. Maybe they were a little too overconfident. And then, you know, maybe the Hokies got a little bit of a charge from, you know, their offensive coordinator taking over as head coach for the rest of the season. Maybe a different set of eyes, a different voice in the locker room. But nonetheless, the Hokies ran all over them and really got a win that nobody really expected.
Make no mistake about it, Braxton Harris knows that when the ball is kicked off here, Campbell gets to deposit a very large check here at NC State. But he also knows it's a really big opportunity and talked about it and about this NC State team earlier this week.
Our goal this week is simple: is we went and played an ECU team that was really talented. We actually lost to North Carolina State by a touchdown right early in the season, and we didn't perform our best, right? We want to be able to perform at our best. And so this process hasn't changed. It's about us and it's about being our best. And this is just another opportunity to be able to go be our best. And we get a chance to learn about ourselves. We got some new guys and some roles, and they're going to be thrust in some environments that maybe they're not haven't been in before. Well, we get a chance to expose them to those environments and get to go play in that, right? There's nothing like experience. Just like those receivers you just mentioned, man, they're going to get experience against an ACC speed receiving DBs right there. Man, it's going to be a huge experience to add to their toolbox. Then we get back in CAA play after this game. That's going to be a huge advantage for those kids. And so at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for us to get better and us to get better at doing our job. And that's exactly what we're thankful for, is that opportunity. I think it'll be a great environment for our kids. You know, the game's already sold out from them. And so it's going to be a great environment that they're going to have family and friends. There's a lot of people around this area that are Campbell fans and that have degrees from NC State and have degrees from Campbell, right? And it's going to be a great opportunity to expose our university and our program on a big stage in that spot. And I think it's another opportunity for us to grow and us to develop as a program. First time we've ever played, NC State at their place in that spot. And so it's an opportunity for us. Our kids love the opportunity. Our kids want to play. Our kids enjoy the opportunity to play the game of football. And that's one of the things I respect so much about our kids is they want the opportunity to play. They want the opportunity to develop, and they'll play up to the environment.
What an opportunity it is, and you will get a chance to hear me and Jay right here, but also Lyndall and Andy are going to tell you about where they are going to be for the broadcast tonight. But final thoughts, guys, as we think about this Campbell team and what you would like to see them, along with Coach Harris, get out of this game.
I think the biggest thing for Campbell is come out, get off to a hot start, put pressure on NC State, and throughout this ball game, Braxton Harris said it's not about the opponent this week or any week. It's about us. Just play consistent football and play to the best of your ability.
Well, when you look at what this team was able to do against ECU, it wasn't a whole lot. And so I think the pressure is kind of off to perform at this point. Everyone knows what the spread is, and we know why we are here. But I saw something this morning from someone who used to work here. He just so happens to be the president of our university. And one thing he says is any given Saturday. And so as long as they believe on the field, the biggest takeaway for us is what can we do? If Campbell touches paint a few times in this game, I think Campbell head coach Braxton Harris goes home really happy.
Yeah, I agree, Lyndall. That's one of the big things. Last week, State gave one up to Virginia Tech. What's on that game film that Coach Harris and his team can look at and go, we can duplicate that. We can run that out pattern. We can get little short plays down the field, get some drives going, give the Campbell players some confidence. And then on the other side of the field, maybe it gets the State guys hanging their head a little bit going, oh, wow, here we go again. Folks don't like our coach. We've got a problem, whatever. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll be back on the other side of the break. Linda, where can everybody find you guys?
Yeah, you can find us over on YouTube, on my official YouTube page. We're going to do a watch-along kind of deal, so you can stick around here. You can also find Chris on YouTube and, of course, on the Go Camels app, gocamels.com. And then we'll have that link out for you on Twitter so you can find it, just so you can be a part of all the action here with Andy and I.
We are ready to have some fun. The flyover is going over. The fireworks are up. It's Campbell versus NC State on the gridiron for the first time in program history. Kickoff next. This is the Bojangles countdown to kickoff.
It's bow time. Fumble in the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy,